Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well today. I am attempting to film this video, or I'm going to attempt to film this video, should I say, in a rather bizarre way. I've currently just got you on the tripod and I'm just carrying you around with me because what I really wanted to do for this video, I've basically just got home to the UK from Lanzarote. I've been away for a week and I have therefore got lots of planty things going on, and what I wanted to do was just get you on the gimbal and take you round and kind of give you a bit of a walkthrough, give you a bit of an overview, let you know what's going on because I have got lots of things happening at the moment with my plants. But my gimbal is not working and I cannot make that happen, and I'm losing my mind trying to figure it out. So I thought I would try doing things this way, so hopefully it won't be too jolty and hopefully I'll be able to take you through lots of things. But first, if you're new here, hi, my name's Claire and this is Yoli. I make videos all about houseplant care, sharing tips and tricks I've learnt over the years to help keep your plants happy and healthy. And yeah, so as I say, this is gonna be an updates video, but I haven't even been through everything with my plants myself yet since getting home because I only got home yesterday. So yeah, I thought we could just go through everything together, have a look, see what the damage is, see what's going on. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So seeing as I've brought you over to the kitchen, I thought we could start here with some things that I've brought over that need addressing fairly urgently, some things that I've already noticed are going a little bit wrong. And I just want to say as well, we've literally just got home from holiday. I've got a suitcase by my feet. There's rubbish everywhere. The flat's not looking great. But yes, so the first one that I know needs attention in many ways is my Alocasia Jacqueline. And although this plant kind of like superficially is looking absolutely fine, it's been right next to my, not Alocasia, Philodendron Dean McDowell that, I will show you in a minute, but it's got spider mites really, really badly. And this one, I'll bring you in a little bit closer. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but this one, it's a magnet for spider mites and it has got a few. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see anything there, but I did notice a little bit of webbing, and that's something that I want to address fairly urgently because this plant, when it gets pests, is an absolute nightmare. I think because of the texture of its leaves, you can't like wipe it down in the same way as you can with lots of other plants. So that is top priority. However, the reason that I went over to look at this plant pretty much immediately is because I bent down to check something else in the area and I smelt a really weird smell. And what's happened is basically I've got this plant growing in semi-hydro and I filled up its reservoir a little bit more than I usually would before I went away, and I think I just over-fertilised it and the water at the bottom went really stagnant and smelly and gross. And if you look at the bottom of the pot now, you can see it's very black and you can imagine it does not smell good. The good thing is most of the roots that I can see actually look fine, but I do still think I need to get it out. I need to potentially do a little bit of root pruning and just give this plant a really good like spa day. I feel like this plant needs a lot of love right now because there's a lot going on, but I have just noticed it is putting out a new leaf, so that is exciting. But yeah, that is the first thing that absolutely needs dealing with. And in fact, before I show you anything else, I'm just going to wash my hands. But then the next thing that I brought over that is next to it is my Drymona Chiribagana. And to be honest, this plant hasn't been looking amazing for quite a while, and I'm really upset because this is a plant that I got towards the beginning of the year and I was like raving about how well it was growing for me, and it's the easiest plant ever. And since I've chopped and propagated it, I'm kind of wishing I didn't do that because I've had issue after issue after issue. And this one I took out of my cabinet as soon as I got home because I just had a glance in there and I could see one of its leaves was covered in thrips. And I can't at the moment see any more, but I know that where there's one, I'm sure there's more. And because it's got that kind of velvety texture to its leaves, I would have thought there's probably lots more lurking, which also probably means I should pest treat my entire cabinets, which is a fun thought. But yeah, those are the two things that I brought over so far that I'm like, I need to deal with them immediately. Everything else in the kitchen looks okay. I mean, I've got very hardy plants in my kitchen. Typically, I've got my Aglaonema cutlass, my Philodendron tortum. They very rarely, touch wood, very rarely actually give me grief. Oh, but one thing, I tried to multitask and it's never good. But one thing I did actually bring over to show you, and I'm not quite sure why I brought it to the kitchen because it's actually the most impractical place, but I've got a couple of prop boxes. And I say prop boxes, these are mainly kind of like plants I put into storage, plants that I was like, they just need high humidity, they essentially need cabinet conditions, but I don't want to care for them for a while. And I put them in these boxes, and oh my God, some of the things that have been happening in these boxes since I've been away are just insane. And I'm not gonna show you everything, but I've got a couple of highlights that I wanna take you through. And if you just look in here, you can see there is a lot happening. But one thing that I am so happy about is I've got loads of variegated alocasia frydeckorms that are finally giving me a nice balance of both green and white, because for such a long time I was just unable to achieve that. All of them were coming out as ghost growth, and finally I've got quite a few actually. There was another one somewhere, but I think it might be in the other box. But yeah, quite a few that are giving me a nice balance, which is so nice. And yeah, this, I'm just keeping the lid on it. I'm really not doing anything to it at all. It's just kind of looking after itself, which at the moment is just quite nice to have some things that I don't need to worry about. But the one that really blew my mind, the begonia that I was looking for the ID on recently, that I have actually got an ID on, and I will put the name on the screen, but it's one that I got as a 1-leaf cutting at the Bristol plant swap, which was, I think, 2.5 months ago now. A 1-leaf cutting. I said before when I spoke about this plant that it was a fast grower, and I honestly, I don't think in all of my time of owning plants, I don't think I have ever been so like blown away by how quickly a plant can grow. And I put this one into a box just before I went away on holiday, which was just over a week ago now. And I was like, okay, cool, I hope it does well while I'm away. I will see it when I'm back. Are you ready for this? In fact, let me just put a clip of it on the screen at the last time I showed you it, just so that you can get an idea of how quickly it grows. Okay, you guys, this is the best clip I could find. This is from a video that I filmed 2 weeks ago. So this is what the plant looked like 2 weeks ago. This is what it looked like then. But yeah, this is it now. Just look at that. Isn't that absolutely insane? And not only was it giving me all of the growth that you see here, it was also flowering yesterday when I got back, and I decided to take the flowers off just because although they looked beautiful, I was like, I'd like to try and just get it pumping lots of energy into growth. I just want to keep this one growing because it's absolutely insane. And I just love it. Like, it's such a, I was going to say such an unusual begonia. Like, superficially looking at it, it doesn't look particularly like, I don't know, it's just like a very green kind of begonia-ish plant. But I think because it's one that you don't see about very much, I'm just really excited to own it. And the fact that it grows so quickly just makes me so happy. And another begonia as well that I put into a prop box before I went away, and I'm really happy is doing well, is my begonia Sinbad. And if you're on my Patreon, you will have heard me kind of bang on about this one because it's a begonia that I feel like might have converted me, I was gonna say, to being a begonia person. I don't know if that's true, but it's definitely got me more interested in begonias, let's say. And this one, I had propagating in water for about 6 weeks. It rooted beautifully, but then the bottom part of the stem started to rot. And I noticed this literally like 2 days before I went away. And I was like, do I risk transferring this one into something else, or do I just put it back in water? What do I do? And so I put semi-hydro to there, and I've just filled a reservoir in that. And then I've put tree fern fibre all around the top, and it seems to be doing well. It hasn't died off. But yeah, seeing how well the other begonia responded to life in the box, I've decided to just put this one in there as well and hope for the best. So Yeah, those were two very, very exciting and positive things that I was so happy to come home to. Those were literally like, I don't know, I checked the prop boxes straight away because I was like, I just want to see what's happening. Because I think everything just moves at such a quick rate in there. As it does with cabinet stuff. And my cabinet is looking fine. Like, it's looking okay. But it's not looking as great as maybe I thought, or like I dreamed that it would getting back from holiday. It's obviously been very, very warm here in the UK, and I think everything's just got a little bit dry and a little bit crispy. And obviously, as I say, I did find thrips in there on my Drimonia cherry begana, so I really just need to get everything out and just give it a proper pest check. I have also noticed some signs of pest damage, like this is my philodendron painted lady. If you look at that top leaf, although I can't actually see thrips on it, the fact that it's come out looking like that, I also just know this plant. I know it does this sometimes. I have just seen this happen before, and I do believe that there are more pests than I can currently see, which is very annoying. I released a load of predatory mites in there not that long ago, and I was tempted to release the whole 50,000 in there, and I decided not to. Now I'm thinking perhaps maybe I should have done, but I think what I will probably do, in fact, I'm going to take this out of my cabinet now. I think what I'll probably do in the next couple of days is just kind of have a little bit of a reset of my collection. Like, I always really I enjoy the feeling of having done that. It makes me feel like I'm kind of starting afresh. It's quite therapeutic in a way, and although I often don't make the time to do it, I'm like, maybe this is a great excuse to do it. So that will probably involve getting like everything out of my cabinet, everything off shelves, giving everything a wipe over, getting everything through to the shower, pest checking, pest treating, all of that sort of stuff. So expect to see lots of that probably on my channel in the next week or so. But yeah, in my cabinet otherwise, I don't think there's anything like major going on. I was annoyed. I really wanted to try cross-pollinating my Anthurium clarinervium with my Anthurium villanaurum before I went away, but the clarinervium wasn't quite in the female stage, and I can actually see it's now gone into the male phase. But what I did, I have no idea if it will have even worked. But what I decided to do, just because I wasn't going to be here to pollinate it, is I actually cut off the villanaurum inflorescence when it was in the male stage, and I just kind of put it in there with some cling film. And I was like, maybe they'll find a way of like rubbing together and pollinating. I'm not sure whether or not it's going to have worked, to be honest. But as I say, this one is now producing some pollen, so at least I can harvest that and then do some pollinating with clarinervium. I'm not like, I obviously can do that. I've just got so much clarinervium pollen now. I'm like, I really want to start experimenting with other stuff. So I just need to wait for my other anthuriums to start doing some exciting things. Oh, and I've got a very, talking of other anthuriums doing exciting things, I've just noticed something exciting that I hadn't noticed before. So I was going to say, my anthurium shelf here, I'm aware, is very dry and needs a lot of things doing to it. But the Anthurium vitarifolium, if you look here, I can see has given me its first inflorescence. It's never done that before. And I have absolutely no idea about cross-pollination with the vitarifolium. If any of you know like what types of anthuriums can be hybridized with it, let me know. Because yeah, I've got clarinervium pollen and I've got villanaurum pollen and potentially some radicans pollen as well. So maybe I'll give that a go. It looks like it's literally just like unfurled and open, so I would have thought in the next couple of days it'll probably be good to go pollination wise. But making our way around the room, let's close up my cabinet, because for now I think just the general consensus is it's very dry in there and it needs some TLC. Oh my god, look. Yeah, I've got things kind of dying off and not looking great, but yeah, I've got lots to do in there. Plants on top look okay. I've got lots of Ross's weird and wonderful creations up there. But yeah, plants up there are looking okay. Snake plants in the corner, obviously they very rarely give any grief at all. They're absolutely fine. I didn't even water 2 of those before I went away and they're still totally fine. And the ones down here, superficially all look okay. Most of these ones are in semi-hydro, so again I think it's probably just going to be the case of going through and, oh yeah, I was going to say filling some reservoirs. Look how dry that is. I did fill these quite high before I went away as well, but obviously it has just been so warm. Like even today I am absolutely sweltering filming this video. It's so hot here in the UK. We were kind of joking because I think it's actually been a bit warmer here than it has been when we were in Lanzarote, which is crazy. But I've got lots of lovely new growth coming, which is really encouraging. Like if you look at my Mandula pothos, it's got some beautiful growth coming out of it and it's really, really sizing up now, which makes me so happy. And that's got a teeny tiny reservoir left. So, okay, not all of them are bone dry. And I've got a begonia here as well that just does not want to root. I can't remember the name of this one. It's the weird trypophobia one. I will put the name on the screen. But I'm thinking maybe chopping this leaf in half and putting it into a prop box. If any of you guys have any tips or advice for this type of begonia, I would be really, really grateful. Because I was given this lovely one by Max and Holly at the RHS Malvern Spring Show. And I've had it in water in the same way as I do with pretty much all of the begonias in my collection, which isn't many. But all of those ones have rooted fine in this way, and that one just has not seemed to want to do anything. So yeah, not quite sure what to do about that currently. But everything else in this area looks pretty okay, I think. So this section here, I basically didn't get around to putting any of my grow lights in this area on timers. Everything else was on timers, but this area did sit pretty much, not in darkness, but like in very low light when I was away. So the first night I got back, I left the grow lights on all night and I was like, just have your light. But they seem fine. My Philodendron Splendid is looking really gorgeous. I'm really happy with how she's doing. As you can see, she's getting ready to put out a new leaf just there, which is always so exciting. And I feel like now I've got her in this spot, I don't know, there's just a little bit more scope for her to be able to grow higher, because although it looks like she's kind of running out of room, I can lower her, if that makes sense. I've got her stacked up on top of other things at the moment. So I'm hoping now I've got a cool grow light set up in that space, I can grow her really, really big there. I have also got a new leaf on my Jose Bueno just there, which is very exciting. I love the Jose Bueno so much. And I know I need to get this one onto a moss pole. I keep saying it and I keep not doing it. And honestly, I think I'm just a little bit scared of how big that plant can grow. And I'm like, I don't know where I'll put it and I won't want to chop it. But one that I will be chopping is my Alocasia Portadora, because yet again, this plant is giving me 2 beautiful leaves there, and it's got one that is about to die off there. It is just doing the absolutely classic alocasia cycling thing. And I know some of you have said put it outside on the balcony, and you know what, that is not a bad shout at all. Firstly, just because this plant is just a magnet for pests. Needless to say, I came back to spider mites on this plant, hence why it's just over here at the moment. But I think getting it outside would also just allow it to get the light that it really needs, because in this spot here, it's not getting bad light. A lot of my plants would be happy with this, but because it is such a, like, it's a sun-loving plant, this one can be acclimated to take full sun, and I think probably balcony life is more suited to it, for the time being anyway. But let's turn you around and have a look at these shelves, because I haven't even looked at these shelves yet. So before I get into the shelves, one of the things that, again, if you're on my Patreon, you will have seen, but one of Ross's most recent creations is this little propagation station that I think is so adorable. It's on a little swing. And I was saying to him, I was like, I think you should make them and sell them. I think they are so good and so adorable. And we've got such a collection of little monster-y things that are just popping up now. Like there's so many little Ross creations and I think they're so cool. If you want a full tour on them at some point, I will absolutely do that. Or he can do that actually. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to do that because I think they're amazing. But one of the things that I am, to be honest, quite surprised is, well, when I say doing well, I'm not sure if it's actually doing well, but my Miranda Silver Band, I got a cutting of this plant for my birthday, which was back in September, which, oh my God, I think was about 9 months ago now. I got a cutting of this plant for my birthday, and this is what it's looking like. It hasn't sized up at all. And it doesn't seem unhappy, like it hasn't got pests, it's putting out lots of growth, it's in semi-hydro, I am fertilising it, but it's almost like I've bought a miniature. And I'm not like, I don't mind that, but it's not what you typically see when you see silver bands. So yeah, I'm not sure why it's doing this. Again, if anyone has any theories, I'd be really interested to know, because I keep thinking like, oh, maybe its next leaf will be bigger, and it's just getting smaller and smaller. Like, look at that diddy little one there. But yeah, as I say, it's still growing. And then everything else down here, I've got lots of things that need, when I say need attention, like something got knocked over down there the other day. I've got plants that, like this alocasia has lost a leaf. This is my regal shield, and I've just got lots of tending to things that needs to happen in this area. Oh, and another thing that I keep meaning to show you that is absolutely gorgeous, my alocasia Frydek. In fact, I think this might be another plant that needs potentially a bit of love, does it? So I gave my Alocasia Mitchellitziana a big old chop back recently because, again, I had spider mites, and although its leaves it's got at the moment are looking okay, it's still not looking amazing. But one of the things that I'm using to support this plant at the moment, and I might need to put some clips in so you can see it properly, but is this gorgeous little copper plant stake. And this is made by Katie, who runs a business called Cotton Lily. And I will link her down below because honestly, her creations are just gorgeous. And if you remember in the video where I repotted my Alocasia Mitchellitziana, I tried to make my own like spirally things to help keep the leaves up because they do kind of flop and dip quite a lot. And I got this lovely message from Katie saying I actually make stuff similar to this, but obviously much, much better than what I did. And I just think it looks beautiful, and it's, oh my God, I almost dropped the plant. It's also in the worst reservoir at the moment. It's in an old ice cream tub that I decorated. But yeah, it just looks gorgeous, and it's so practical because it's helping everything stay upright. But yeah, I'm gonna come back to that one because it needs some attention. But yeah, that's the other thing I was going to show you. Katie also makes beautiful hangers, and this one is just a gorgeous macrame hanger with little bits of copper on it. And I'm trying to think which plant I want to put into it. I actually need to go through my hanging plants and do some repotting, just some general plant care. So I'm thinking I might put one of my ones on the hanging rail in it because it just is so pretty. Again, as I say, I'll link her down below. But yeah, if you're watching, thank you, Katie. I absolutely love them. But then I've got some exciting things. My Hoya macrophylla is putting out an insane amount of growth. Like, I've got about 3 of this plant now, and all of them are growing amazingly. I don't really know if I'm going to keep all of them. I keep toying with the idea of either potting them all up together and making a huge one, or taking some more to the plant swap, to the next plant swap, which I think is in October. I'm undecided yet, but I mean, Hoyas are just so hardy. You can just typically leave them go away and not worry. So I haven't, from what I can see yet, I haven't had any kind of like major issues with any of my Hoyas. Oh, wow. Also, this is one of Ross's Begonia breviremosa cuttings. He's propagating quite a few sections of it, but look at those roots. That's insane. Also, his mother plant is doing so well. Begonia, when it gets going, does just seem to be absolutely crazy. Oh, and this is one of my Anthurium clarinervium babies. Obviously that leaf is about to die out, but it has just given me that one, which actually, oh, for the first time you can actually properly see the clarinervium form. Like it's got that white veination. It's starting to properly look like what it is, because often when they're seedlings, you can't really tell. They just look like standard seedlings. So that's exciting. All of these things here are so dry though. I need to get in here with my watering can because, oh my God, even reservoirs are really, really dry. I've got a new leaf unfurling here on my Allocation Ninja that Emma gave me, and its reservoir is so dry. But then coming up to the next shelf, I can't again see anything like major apart from watering that desperately needs doing on the shelf, because I have got lots of things that are so dehydrated. But one thing that it's like a little holiday haul. We found it was like it was meant to be. It was outside where we were staying. It's just a broken piece of what I assume is either euphorbia or some kind of cactus. It was literally just lying on the floor outside where we were staying. And I was like, usually, obviously I wouldn't like pick something from its natural habitat, but I was like, I feel like it's meant to be. So I said to my friends, I was like, I'll take it home, I'll plant it up, and then I'll grow it, and then we can all have a cutting of it, and it can be a little memory of our holiday. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what it is. So if anybody knows, please let me know. It has now calloused and it is ready to be potted. So yeah, I'm excited about that. It's a little piece of Lanzarote. And then I've got another, oh yay, it's finally rooting. I was gonna say another bit of Begonia Sinbad, which I thought was just gonna die off. But again, it has, I don't know why it's not focusing, but yeah, it has started to root, which I'm happy about. Should probably get that potted up quite soon, because I think otherwise it's probably all just going to rot. Oh, Peperomia Hope, that's one that I'm always keen to check on to see how it's doing, because I absolutely adore this plant. And I can see it's putting out so much new growth. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh my God, can you see all of these new growth points? Like there's one there, there's one there, there's one there, there's two there. This one is bursting into life, because this is another one that I got at the same time actually as the Maranta Silver Band for my 30th birthday. And I completely lopped it back and I was like, oh, I don't know if this is the right thing to do. And I'm so glad, yet again, another one that I'm saying I'm so glad about having done it, because it is just kick into action now and it's getting full sun. I'm growing it very similarly actually to a lot of my other succulents, but I'm probably giving it a little bit more water. In fact, this is an awful light, you can't see anything at all. I'm probably giving it a little bit more water than some of my others, just because I do believe it's a semi-succulent and not an actual succulent. I might be wrong about that actually. I'm pretty sure it is though. Oh, and I've got some very dry anthuriums that I'm almost ashamed to show. I know there's nothing I could have done about it because I haven't been here, but oh, this one started putting out a new leaf before I left and I can see it starting to yellow on some of these leaves. So yep, top of the list. Window shelves just bake, and because I wasn't able to have my French doors open when I was away, although I had windows open the whole time, and these ones just, yeah, they've just got so dry. Oh, God, almost said a naughty word. My Boston Fern as well. Oh, savable, but looks, God, it always looks so much better on camera. It looks in person like it's got almost no colour on it right now because it's obviously so dry. Wow, yeah, look at how dry it is. So that, again, needs a very desperate water. Most of these are just watering issues though, like I can't see anything it's like major needing doing. Yeah, this one never really looks happy, but I've just got used to the fact that it's just how it looks. Oh, but I do know something that is quite sad that I can see behind the camera. In fact, I'll turn you around and try and see if I can show you from this angle. because I'm not entirely sure actually what to do about this. My Monstera dubia, the big, main, beautiful section, as you can see, is not that happy. There we go, you can see she's not that happy. She's really yellowing quite a lot. And this actually started long before I went away. This started about 4 weeks ago. I basically just accidentally let her moss bowl completely dry out and the reservoir completely dry up. Again, there's been so much light and heat coming through this window and I just didn't stay on top of it. And she just drooped and I was like, oh my God. And I rehydrated the pole and I like did all of the right things, but it has left her with quite a bit of damage. And although it is just superficial and she is still like very much growing, in fact, she's just put out a massive new leaf at the point that I chopped, which again, I will show you if I possibly can. It's facing a weird way at the moment. Can you see that? But yeah, she's put out a weird new leaf at the top. I am planning on chopping and propagating this section at some point, but I'm kind of thinking that I might chop up my entire big Monstera dubia and propagate it. Just because, as I say, it's not that the plant is now like doomed or anything, but just because I was such a huge fan of looking at her big, beautiful, healthy, and not yellow, but I don't think long term I want to be growing a plant that looks really, really yellow, even if it is representative of how it would be in nature. I don't know, I think it would just like annoy me. So I'm thinking it's the perfect time of year to do it. She's got a really good root system in the pole. I might chop her up. So that will be scary. And I'm definitely going to let this section kind of root a little bit better before I do that. I've got it wrapped in cling film at the moment. I'm not sure how well you can see. But yeah, I've just wrapped that section in cling film just to try and get some roots growing. And then I'll essentially start the entire process again and do what I did with this section, I think probably about this time last year. And we can start again. I mean, it's taken me not long at all to get her back to this size. So although it kind of breaks my heart, at the same time, I'm like, I can then share this plant and I can get a lovely big one going as well. So it's not all bad. Oh, and something else I did before I went, and this is useful, I can just like lift you up and show you, my fishbone cactus, my fishtail cactus, sorry. No, what am I talking about? My fern leaf cactus. I decided to chop that up because I found pests on it, I found thrips on it, but all of them were like right in the middle of the plant, very close to the soil, and the middle bit of the plant wasn't looking good or healthy, and I was like, shall I just like chop and reroot? And you know what? It's not looking bad. Like it's feeling really nice and full, like it has rooted again, which I'm really happy about because it felt like a bit of a risk, to be honest. I wasn't sure whether or not the plant was going to pull through and make it. I must have done this about 4.5 weeks ago now, and the fact that it's still looking pretty alive, I think is a fairly good sign. And then, oh, can I squeeze round here with you? Oh, also something really annoying that happened when we were away. I left something in like a baking tin of water to try and like rehydrate. And the baking tin of water has, let me see if I can show you. Yeah, has leaked, and look what's happened to the floor. It's all stained and mouldy, and this is an oak floor, and I feel very guilty about that. So I've been looking up online all the ways that you can like sand a floor and scrub a floor and revarnish a floor. And to be honest, when the time comes for me to move out of here, I do feel like I'm probably going to have to do that. Not because like that is the only area that's got properly damaged, but I do spill water quite frequently, and yeah, I think that's going to be something that I need to do. So we'll cross that bridge later. But in fact, a couple of things, exciting things. My Pallidiflorum has given me this massive new, beautiful, beautiful leaf. It has got a little bit damaged, but that's okay because this one is growing so quickly. It's quite difficult to actually get around here and show you it. But it's growing so quickly. I'm so happy with how it's doing. And just behind it as well, my euphorbia that I got at the last London plant swap that I went to from one of you guys. Look at the top sections of it and look at those leaves. I'm so happy that it's doing so well, because for a while it kind of like put out little growth points and I was like, is it gonna do anything? Because it just, I don't know, like it wasn't growing in the same way as my other euphorbias. It was being very slow to get going and I was enjoying it, but I was like, it's not that rewarding. And all of a sudden it's just bursting into life, which makes me so happy. And I really want to show you the monkey tail cactus as well, but I'm just going to try and squeeze through here with you because this is incredibly impractical. Oh, this is a nice angle. So yeah, another fun update that I am excited to give is so I got 3 little plants of monkey tail cactus when I was in Malvern, and they were just like rescue plants that had been broken off some other plants and they weren't being sold as full plants. And I potted them all up together and look at them now. They're really quite big. Like, I think they were only about that when I first got them. And in a fairly short amount of time, I'm pretty impressed with this growth. Like, I did not expect it to grow this quickly. And in fact, when I had the monkey tail cactus before, I didn't have the best experience with it, and it did actually, I'm allowed to say this now, it got knocked down when I was filming my Gardener's World episode. I had it hanging by my window and it got knocked down, and from there it just went on a downhill spiral. But yeah, this one's doing really well and I'm really, really happy. And I was actually sitting out on the balcony earlier because we've put little table and chairs out there now. So although it's not looking lovely, like, you can sit out there and have a coffee and kind of like get a bit of sunshine. And whenever I sit out there, it's really lovely being able to look in through the windows and like see my plants, because they all face the window, see them all like looking out of the window. And I was admiring this one and I just thought it looked so lovely. So I'm really, really chuffed that it's finally doing so well. And I could absolutely carry on, obviously, like chopping and propagating and filling it out. But I don't even know if I want to do that. I think I'm quite content for the time being just having a few little sections of it. I don't know, maybe that will change. But for the time being, I just really love it like this. I know it's a bit weird, but I really love it. And then back there is Spider Mighty area. I'm not sure how well you can see. I'm just tilting the camera, but yeah, my Philodendron Dean McDowell, I can see has got 2, can I squeeze through? 2 leaves that have been really, really spider mitten. I know I should have taken them out of general population already. Yeah, look at that. Does not look good. But I honestly only started looking at my plants like half an hour ago, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to film a video and go around everything with you guys so I can chat it through, because I feel like I need to. So yeah, that is 100% next on the list to be treated. Probably a bit of a trim back as well, I would say. Because yeah, I think that never looks as bad on camera, but I think that might be a little beyond. I mean, it might just be superficial, but I don't know how much that is going to be able to like offer the plant now. Also, this one is just in desperate need of a repot. It's my massive Monstera deliciosa, and it's in a really small pot at the moment for the size of the plant. And I can see at the top, I need to actually get it down, have a proper look at it, but I can see up there it's got some brown edges, some yellowing, and I think probably that is because it isn't able to absorb that much nutrients at the moment. So yeah. The good thing is as well though, my Scindapsus, let's go all the way through, my Scindapsus argyraeus that I put into semi-hydro fairly recently is looking really good. It's looking like it could definitely do with a little more water, but it's the one, I made a video on it so you might have seen it, but it's the one over there in the corner, kind of go all the way along the window, and it looks really good. Because sometimes when you transfer like even repot a vining plant but put it into a different substrate, it can have a little bit of a hissy fit, and I'm always very nervous about that. But luckily that does look to be pretty okay, and I haven't lost any leaves, which is good. But apart from that, it's just, I mean, obviously bedroom plants. Typically the bedroom plants, from what we've seen, have been fine. I've said it before, but I've got lots of like succulents, low maintenance plants, aglaonema, stuff like that through in the bedroom. Ross is currently working through there, so I can't take you through, but yeah, everything in there looks fine. My euphorbias are in there, they're doing well. But the hanging plants, again, I haven't got them down to like properly look at them yet. I will be doing that either later today or tomorrow. But they look okay. I mean, they could definitely do with the water. They probably will be very dry, but they look okay. The one just there, the Dracaena, I really want to think of a plant, like a nice hanging plant that likes fairly low light conditions that I could hang there instead. Because that plant is one that I've been threatening to part with for years and years and years, and I don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't know why I still have it in my collection. Everything else I'm feeling pretty happy with at the moment. I'm feeling pretty happy with like the plants that I've got and getting rid of them and da-da-da. That one I'm just not that attached to. So hit me with your suggestions, like any that you think would do well in that area that you like. Also, there is a plant that I lost while I was away, and I have actually thrown this one straight in the bin because there was no saving it. But it's one that used to live just here next to my bird of paradise behind the sofa. And it is, this is a weird angle, it is my cast iron plant. And that one has been ridiculously hardy the whole time I've owned it. It's never given me any grief at all. And I just don't know, I honestly don't know what happened to it. I came back and it was just yellow and wilted. Every single leaf was gone. And I 100% probably could have just chopped it back and waited for it to regrow, but it was in quite a big pot. It had a fairly substantial root system, and it is like on par with snake plants in how slow it is to grow in my experience. So I was just like, although I really like it, and this is such a bad mentality to have, but I don't say things like this very often. I was like, I think it would be easier for me to just rebuy the plant as opposed to waiting for it to grow back, because I think it would take years personally, and I'm not prepared to wait that amount of time for that plant. So yeah, but everything else is looking okay, I think. I have obviously got my work cut out, and as I say, I think like a bit of a reset is going to be in order. So stay tuned for that. But otherwise, I think everything's pretty fine. But yeah, thank you for coming with me as I just did this kind of little walk around and looking at everything. It's been really lovely for me to just kind of like process everything and look at what I need to do. So if you want more videos like this, please let me know. I will happily make them. It's been really easy and really fun. So yeah. If you did enjoy this video as well, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.
Stay sexy, plant lovers.